Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Get Pucked podcast. Luca, Vito, and Matt here. No Dave, unfortunately, but we carry on. And a little bit of update on us. So in case this is the first time you're listening to us, we're going to just expand our little intro here for 2 seconds. Just saying to say, this is a weekly Habs podcast that we like to put out. Take a look on the social medias for the updates. Whenever we are posting, we typically try to shoot for a Tuesday morning release in and around. So turn on those notifications, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Want to get that out of the way now. We appreciate every one of you who do that. So that aside, let's start talking about the Canadiens.
Yes, let's.
Specifically, I want to talk about Patrik Laine. So I know, relax. All right. I know your feelings about Patrik Laine. You'll have your chance to speak about him in half a second. But obviously, the news came out the other day there. He's going to be out, I believe it's 3 to 4 months was what happened. Sports hernia is what the diagnosis was, and he underwent surgery for it. First and foremost, it sucks. I mean, it just sucks that he is constantly hurt. It's just one of those things. He might never possibly ever have a season again where he doesn't have something going on, seemingly, which is really unfortunate. I happen to like the player personally quite a bit. I like guys who can score. He's proven he can do it, and when he does it, he does it well. So that's always really a pretty crappy thing to have happen now, really early on in the season, especially with all of the sort of motivation he was saying that he had coming into the season about, you're going to see the best version of him and all this.
Which we didn't.
Well, you didn't have the chance. So, okay. Well, let's talk about that for half a second. My belief is you saw what you saw on ice from him in the handful of games in the preseason, and before he got hurt in the regular season, he was injured. He was suffering with this hernia.
You don't know when he had that injury.
I don't, but this is before we get the full picture. My understanding is this was something he was laboring with for some time, and that's why he looked the way he looked in preseason and in the season, because he was trying to play through something, and he was obviously.
Did his legs stop working?
I mean, have you ever had a sports hernia?
Yeah, I have, actually.
Okay, and were you able to run around and do cartwheels and stuff with it?
I was able to glide and skate.
Oh, okay. So you're tougher than Patrik Laine. Is that what we're going with? Is that what we're saying?
Asked the question.
Okay, there.
You asked the
tougher
question.
Than a professional hockey player. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, let me finish my question then. All right. So the question is this. Now that he's injured again, and it's again for a significant portion of time, and this is his contract year, what does the future look like for Patrik Laine with the Montreal Canadiens?
It's done.
Okay.
It's done.
Expand. Tell me why.
I don't
beyond the obvious.
I don't, unless he's willing to take a massive pay cut that would justify being okay playing him on the third or fourth line, let's say, even though that's not where he should play, admittedly.
Thank you. Okay.
Unless he takes that kind of a pay cut, I can't see Montreal with the players they have, with Zach Bolduc being in the fold, and some of the other wingers that they have coming up, and all of the other young kids that they have, and the acquisitions that they seem to seemingly want to go and get and do, and the players that you're hearing rumored to Montreal, I just can't see the fit for Patrik Laine anymore in Montreal. And you know what? There was talk at the beginning of the season where apparently during the summer they spoke and there was contract extension talks. Then supposedly it kind of started up again in the preseason, and then it dwindled down, and now you're not hearing any of it anymore because they probably, Montreal as a management group, looked and said it's too much. It's probably too much of a risk now to sign Patrik Laine for that long, or for any term for that more than a year. So maybe they want to do a Sean Monahan style where they give him another year to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if it could be a bounce back year again at a discount, and then maybe move him at the trade deadline again, because right now Montreal ain't going to get much from him for the trade deadline.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy you said that too, because there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, trade him now, trade him now."
You won't
for
get
what? For what?
Anything. The only
the fact that he's injured, you're not trading him injured, but
unless it's another team like San Jose wants to get another LTIR contract, what's the point? Makes no sense.
I don't know if he'll be LTIR there. I mean,
it doesn't make
to that degree where he's not playing at all.
It doesn't make any sense. So to me, I think that the Patrik Laine experiment is just about done. I will admit I was very excited when it happened,
Yeah,
especially for what Montreal traded to get him. It was nothing, and it was it was worth the move. You take that gamble all day, every day. It's without Patrik Laine's goals last year, Montreal wasn't making the playoffs. I admit all of that, but when I watch him play, even last year when he was playing and whatnot, he seems too slow for today's game. His shot is lethal. He'll always be one of those great shots. But there are other players in the NHL who have had a really good shot and have a better hockey IQ and have better skating abilities than Patrik Laine does, and as Patrik Laine has shown. I expected to see this whole version of him that was going to be the greatest version, and we didn't see it. Now you're saying he had the sports hernia. Remember, he went into this season saying he was completely healthy at 100%. So this must have happened. This must have happened in the last couple of games.
Could have happened in preseason. Could have happened after the first game of preseason. We don't know.
All this to say, I'm ready to move on from Patrik Laine. That's not to say that there's no career for him in the NHL. There's a team that could definitely use his skill set as long as they use him in a limited capacity. But I think that the expectation was that when we got Patrik Laine, when the Montreal Canadiens got Patrik Laine, they expected to revive a top 3 pick. Revive that guy who was with Winnipeg, or was even with Columbus and got 60 points, 40 goals. They were expecting that and they didn't get it.
Very good. All right. Luca, do you hate Patrik Laine as much as Vito does?
No, I don't. You know what? As much as it pains me to say this, I don't see a future for Patrik Laine in the organization anymore. Just because, the whole idea is for the players to grow together, right? Keep them all in the same age range and everything. He's never there. He's missing almost the entire season every year. Like you can't expect the guy to develop chemistry with anybody if he's always injured, which seems to be the case. It's sad because I was also very excited when I found out that the Canadiens were getting Patrik Laine for Jordan Harris, and we also got the second pick.
Montreal got the second pick on that.
Yeah, anyways, whatever. No, I don't see a future for him. It's very unfortunate because I was very excited, and he has the tools. He just can't move as fast as the rest of the team, and I don't know if it's the sports hernia or if it's just him.
I think Montreal's just too fast of a team now that he just can't keep up. They play a speedy game, and
if you build a line, there is a place for him. Okay, I'm going to take the opposite view of you guys. Number one, I'll answer the age thing because you're not the only one to talk about the age thing. We think about Patrik Laine as being around forever. Yeah, and the reality is he's like 27.
No, I know. I'm not saying that
Nick
his age
Suzuki is 26.
I'm not saying
he's not saying the age. You're missing the point.
No. But you're saying you guys growing up together and there's 18 and 19-year-olds on the team. Don't get me wrong, right? But he's of the right age.
You're missing the point. Okay, you're missing the point. Growing and developing together and being around each other and building that it's all of it. The chemistry. He's not around to do that. So even when he comes there or when he shows up, it's for a handful of games before he's hurt again.
Time out, because again, this is borderlining on this whole Patrik Laine not being a room guy and stuff again.
No. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But it's borderlining, like he's not around, he's not building chemistry. I think, first off, he's an odd duck. We're all in agreement, right?
But nobody's saying that nobody's saying that either.
But that being said, the way that you see certain guys like Slav, for example, or Caulfield, you're not going to see that out of him ever, even if he was in the room 24/7. He's not that kind of guy. Secondly, the age thing, I'm not going to put it on you, okay? Maybe I misunderstand, but people have been suggesting that he's too old. He's not old. You just think he's old. He's 27, okay? He's of the right age.
He's in the right age.
The difference is,
which makes it worse.
He's not as fast, admittedly,
he's not
north-south as the younger guys on the team. But he is still 6'5", takes big strides, has some ability with the stick movement. We saw some of his slow-mo dekes that he does.
He's got no hockey IQ.
It's so weird seeing him take those big strides and not move.
It seems like it's in molasses, but it's in reality, he's still able to get around people. It's just, to your point, if you put him on a line with really speedy guys, like Put him with Newhook, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
Newhook's at the other end of the ice. He's still crossing the midway. I understand. My point is, he is not a top guy that you build a team around. He is a mid piece that you build a line around, that you put in certain positions to succeed. Power play, put him in offensive face-offs, things of this nature.
He's a scoring threat. He's a scoring threat. He is a scoring threat. However, he's become a guy that literally has to be set up. He has to be set up. So what happens is there's a layer of predictability by having him on your line, and then the rest of his game makes him a liability because he's not defensive. His hockey IQ is not where it needs to be, and sometimes you used to see him trying to do the things he was doing as a rookie that he can't seem to do anymore.
There is improvements that you can still make to the game. He's not completely locked in his ways, but the point is you don't tell this guy to be defensive. The point
I'm not saying you have to tell him to be defensive, but his offensive game is not even what it is. He's a guy that literally
he was playing on the fourth line.
Dude, no, even last year it was basically trying to get a stream past him for him to rip a shot.
And then you know what? Even if he connects 30% of the time on that, that's better than the majority of the guys in the NHL.
It's a scoring threat. It is another threat. I don't take that away. But the rest of his game, 5-on-5, he was a liability.
My belief, before I move on from Patrik Laine, my belief about him is that, and it is contingent on this, to what you alluded to. If there's a re-signing to happen, it cannot be for what he was planning on getting.
No.
You can't ask for tons of years and big money. That can never happen. He has to Sean Monahan himself a little bit, and he has to take a real sweet deal. You're saying that you found passion again for hockey in Montreal. You're saying you love the market. You're saying that you want to stay here and you want to continue your hockey career here. You've not been able to put it into play on the ice, what you really wanted to accomplish. Bet on yourself and then get paid later. To that end, I would re-sign him if it made sense. If it was a short-term deal, what makes sense is your question.
No. Let's say it's 1 year, $4 million.
Okay.
Yep. As a prove me contract, go prove yourself, prove it to the world, prove it to everybody.
He's got
1 year, 1 year, $4 million, even 1 year, $5 million.
Where does he play?
Okay,
so where does he play is the tough question, because we're always thinking in first line, second line, third line, fourth line. If you build another second line instead of having a third line, right? And you build that line with a specific goal in mind, and that goal is to utilize them as much as humanly possible in the offensive capacity. And then you find a way to get your second line power play out there a bit, and he plays there. There is a spot for him. There is a spot. Now, will I be heartbroken if they move on? No. Do I see arguments to be made to the fact that we should move on? The Canadiens should move on? Sure. But I also think that there's still some untapped hockey left in him, that if he has the time to rehab, not rush himself back, which he very much doesn't have to in this situation. The team is playing very well, so he can take all the time he wants, get healthy, get ready, and then redeploy. I think he might still surprise people.
It's not a bad sign, though, that the team is playing very well without him.
How is it a bad sign? This is a deep team, finally. This is a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
Here's a hot take. I'll say here's a hot take. I feel like Demidov was even freer on the second line without Laine there.
He was what?
He's freer.
Because
Demidov, when he was playing with Patrik Laine, because Patrik Laine did get demoted to the fourth line, or even on the power play, you always saw Demidov. His instinct was try to get that stream pass and throw up a shot. Try to feed him.
Yeah.
Which became predictable. The moment Patrik Laine is there, yes, every team knows if he lets go of that shot, it's likely going in. But if you put a player on him, it was over.
But if you stagger him, if you put him on that other second line, third line, whatever, and then they've had to deploy so much to stop that first Suzuki line and the second line with Demidov presently now, right? And now you got that third line coming out. and they're putting the bottom of the lineup to play
But
against
that goes back to what I told you last time, that you and Dave contradicted me on, or were challenging me on when Martin St. Louis put him on the third and the fourth line. I said, "Do you guys ever think it was so you could get favorable matchups?" You're like, hey, "That's the worst place to put him."
Because he's the line that he's on, that fourth line, with the minutes that he's given, he can accomplish nothing. If you change the mindset and you make the deployment of the second line and the third line almost even, that you have both of them getting the looks.
Like
the problem by doing that, and while I say it out loud, the problem with doing that is you start to limit the ice time of Demidov, which you don't want to do. You want him out there as much as possible. Obviously, it's a predicament. There's arguments to be made. I might even be talking myself out of it.
Yes, there's no place for him now.
It's just I guess ultimately when I think about it is with goal scoring, and he has that. The man can score goals. Yeah. He could. Even if it's predictable. We saw him put pucks straight through people before. Like, he could do it. To not be able to find a way to utilize that, I find silly.
Well, and you look at last year, even when he was there and he did score and whatever, was great. We got the Montreal Canadiens got into the playoffs, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But Cole Caulfield was off that power play then. And Cole Caulfield is part of the future of the Montreal Canadiens. Patrik Laine is not. And Cole Caulfield now gets back his power play time in the slot that he was, and is doing, and he's productive.
That's somebody that can put it in the net, man.
Yeah. So all this to say, Patrik Laine ain't gonna dislodge anybody on the first power play, and on the second power play, you're saying, okay, they're literally gonna give Zach Bolduc, it looks like anyways, that responsibility. But Zach Bolduc has a much more well-rounded game than Patrik Laine does.
Given the ice time of the second power play, I'd prefer to see Laine on that spot taking the shot. But would I give him a spot on the team solely to get second power play opportunity to be able to put a goal in versus what, for example, whoever spot he's taken? I don't know. I wouldn't cast it off completely.
At the end of the day, he's gone for 3 to 4 months.
Which
the timeline on that takes him anywhere between January and maybe end of February depending on his recovery, depending on how long it takes for him to get back in shape. Because one thing he can't do is, with a sports hernia, is stay in shape.
Yeah, it's hard. It's going to take time to rehab, which is why they gave the time.
He might be back if Montreal's winning the playoffs. He might be back in time for the playoffs.
I hope he takes every single second to rehab, so that when he comes back, because he's coming back, barring some insanity that might happen in his rehab process, he's gonna be ready to go.
I hope he proves me and a bunch of people wrong.
I hope he proves everybody wrong.
I do. I'm saying absolutely. That, and for those of you that have made it to this point and got fed up with the Patrik Laine discussion, or you guys think I hate him, I don't hate him. No, I don't hate him. If you guys got to this point, I do hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves a lot of people wrong. But right now, it's really hard to.
Well, they're playing well too, right? And that's the argument a lot of people say. Like, where are you going to put them? They're playing so well, they're going to mess with the flow. Yeah, and if they were 2-6, the conversation would be different. But they are playing well, and I guess it's a luxury that they have right now. He could take the opportunity and rest. You don't need Patrik Laine. But they did need him last year.
All I know is that even when I was looking at the lineup, seeing Joe Veleno on the fourth line, it feels a lot better than seeing Patrik Laine on the fourth line.
It does, because he's a suitable guy. He's a fourth liner. Yeah. You see Patrik Laine, it's like that's not where he's going to thrive. Joe Veleno is coming in as an energy guy. That's not what Patrik Laine does. Anyways, I digress. We'll see what happens with that. I'm sure more will come about it. We do wish him a speedy recovery. We wish him all the best, and we do hope that he comes back and proves everybody wrong, especially Vito. Mm-hmm. So, moving on to the next one, who also we're kind of sitting here being like scratching our head. Reinbacher, the enigma, the mystery. Reinbacher. We're at the point of the timeline when he went down with the injury. What they said was it was going to be 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks, or whatever it is. We're at that and passing it now. With I don't know, unless if you guys saw, I haven't seen much in terms of him saying that he's back. He's practicing nothing.
No.
Again, I come back and ask the question: are you still a believer in David Reinbacher, or are you at the point now where it's like, you know what, team still has a need here and there to see this, that? If somebody else wants to take the opportunity and fix him up and turn him into the Bionic Man and then play him, so be it. Let it be somewhere else. I don't want him on Montreal anymore, or in Montreal, or eventually getting here. What's your feeling on this now, Luca, when it comes to David Reinbacher?
So from the day that Carey Price went on that stage and fumbled his name,
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to think about David Reinbacher as a player. Like, I didn't know enough about him, I'll be honest. And then that small sample size that we did see from him, yeah, there were flashes of, like, potential and like a nice ceiling, but he's always injured, so it kind of takes away a little bit of my enthusiasm as a fan of the game. Can't really say that I'm excited to see him play with the team anymore because I don't know him as a player. He's played in Laval a bunch, not even that much, to be honest. And he played a couple of preseason games.
Yep.
I mean, you can't really form an opinion when you don't have data in front of you, and we have zero really to go off of. I don't know. I don't have any kind of confidence whatsoever anymore, unfortunately. I don't see how. I mean, constantly being injured and not playing the sport that you're supposed to be playing can't be good for your development. In fact, it's going to hinder it, if anything, right? So, I mean, how great is he going to be when he comes back?
I mean, this is why I asked the question, man.
I don't see.
So you're prepared already without really seeing him, like, to your own admission. You don't really even know what you got with him. You're prepared to perhaps package.
I'm saying
for
that
something.
Every time I get ready to say, okay, show me what you got, he falls down and breaks an ankle. So,
he didn't break an ankle this time.
I'm just saying, like, he breaks something. Yeah, there's always something. Like, you can't. I've lost all hope, all confidence, because every time I'm like, okay, let's see what he can do. Finally, he's out. I'm like, okay, there you go again. The curse. It's always the same story.
The curse. All right, Vito, your thoughts on David Reinbacher and the delayed return?
I think he still has quite a bit of value for a right-hand defenseman, a young one for that matter. I think there's a lot of teams out there that are looking for young right-hand defensemen that would jump all over it if he became available. I think that now with the rumors of the Canadiens looking to extend Mike Matheson, and with the plethora of defensemen they already have, albeit not right-handed, I think that we might see Reinbacher packaged to go get that 2C. Yeah. And I think that's how they're going to address the need. I think what they wanted to see is how it would work out having all these left-handed defensemen with Dobson in the fold. I said this when they acquired Dobson, and you guys could go back to that episode when they acquired him. And I said that because Dobson came into the fold, and with Carrier being there, and albeit Carrier probably is a perfect sixth, third pairing D-man on the right side, it made Reinbacher and did two things for Reinbacher. Either there was no need for the Montreal Canadiens to have to rush to get a right-handed defenseman there in the thing so you could balance it out, or it made him a little bit more expendable because now they don't have to be like, it's Reinbacher, Mailloux, and nothing. So I think with the fact that they have a Dobson who's young there, if they need to move Reinbacher and still get value from him or package him into something, let's say, going back to Sidney Crosby, we know that's going to be expensive. Then you're going to be the Montreal Canadiens could look and say Reinbacher's part of that deal, among other pieces, and it's going to become an attractive offer for a rebuilding team. So all this to say, sorry, Luca,
it'd be the right move. It's the right thing to do.
In some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Because at the end of the day, Montreal's depth on the RD is really rough. But when you look at who they have now, right? Look, who you look at and you say it's assuming they extend Mike Matheson to 3 years. You got Mike Matheson, you got Lane Hudson signed long term, you got Caden Gooley signed long term, you've got Dobson signed long term. That's 4 right there. Okay, that's 4 right there. Now you have to consider that there's Jackeye, there's Struble, there's Engstrom in the pipeline, there's Bogdan over in Russia. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's already pieces there. Now, do they have the same?
Did you say Carrier?
I already said Carey earlier on, but yes, he's there. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with him. And I got to think they're going to sign him to a longer term contract when the time comes.
I suspect so.
So you look at all that and you're saying the primary pieces are locked in. So there was no rush for them to bring in Reinbacher in the next year or two anyway. But now if there's add this layer about Reinbacher, they can actually make the move if they need to make it. They really do. They don't have to feel like they're handcuffed or trying to decide or even throw a kid to the wolves at this point. Now it's just like, okay, they have to go address another need, and it happens to be a more pressing need. It's 2C. The 2C is more pressing than keeping Reinbacher and developing him as an RD.
100%.
I guess my question when it comes down to it is, even if you're of the mindset that, yeah, you'd like to leverage the fact that he's a high draft pick, a lot of potential there, still super young, and you try to package him out or trade him for that 2C. Every other team is looking and saying that this guy is way behind on his development, that he's only played 30-something games in 2 years, that he's getting injured every other season.
That's why I said,
where's his value?
This is where I'm saying it would likely be a rebuilding team. And the reason for that is because a rebuilding team is going to need the next 3 to 5 years in which they could wait for his development path to go. Montreal is that window, that win now mode is starting to kick in. So they may not have the luxury to wait an additional 2-3 years for Reinbacher to come in. Yes, we all saw it. We all saw that pairing of Lane Hudson and Reinbacher seemed to be ideal on paper.
Yeah.
Okay. But now that's changed. Now we're all looking and saying that ideal pairing at some point is likely going to be Lane Hudson and Noah Dobson. And you know what?
The Dobson acquisition changed, I believe, a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I mean, maybe they didn't think that it was possible. And maybe when the opportunity presented itself, it was too good to pass up. And then they said, we'll figure it out later. But it's at this particular point, you have to be concerned. You'd be silly not to be concerned. A lot of people are putting their heads in the sand and they're suggesting, like, don't worry about it. And to your point, lots of time, who cares, and let him get better. Sure, but he's missed a lot of hockey, and it's notorious for defensemen. They need to play, and they need a lot of time.
Hockey. He's missed a lot of hockey to be able to. Okay, his injuries are not structural. We've said this. Even Marco D'Amico said it. I've heard him say it. It's not. They're not like these severe, oh my god, injuries. However, where it hurts the Montreal Canadiens is that I think when they drafted him, they expected 2-3 years of him to develop. That was in 2022 when they drafted him. We're in 2025. He has yet to really play a season for the Montreal Canadiens. So now he's behind Montreal Canadiens, their timeline, their window, right? When they drafted him, I think they expected him to start now, get into the fold, bottom, maybe start on the third pairing, and eventually move your way up. But now it's like, even if he comes back, we're talking about another 2 years of Laval Rocket, provided he does everything well.
If he comes back. If he comes back in the next week or two, because this is when he's supposed to be coming back, so maybe he's a little delayed. You add another week or two, maybe even 3 weeks, and then he comes back and he goes to Laval and he plays the full season without getting hurt. The expectation for him should be that do the whole season, train hard in your off season, come to camp, and given where he was drafted and what he's supposedly supposed to be capable of doing, he should make the team next year, barring another injury. That would be the expectation, the timeline from when he was drafted to now. Top 5 pick. You should not take that long to get into the NHL.
Okay, so like let's say, because right now everybody's signed. Let's say it happened let's say come the playoffs. Where does Reinbacher even fit? Lane Hudson's playing a right side sometimes on the second pairing.
He doesn't fit this season. He doesn't fit. And maybe he does fit if you start looking at.
But he doesn't fit next season either.
Well, it depends.
How do you figure? Mike Matheson's. Let's say they're assuming again the scenario is that Mike Matheson is extended. Caden Gooley is there. Dobson is there. Hudson is there. Carrier is there. There's one spot left. It's between Xhekaj and Struble. And Struble signed for another year.
Maybe Carrier's not there. Maybe he's the one that gets traded.
I'm
giving you the how could it happen? He's obviously taking the Carrier, Struble, Xhekaj spot and working his way up potentially. And then eventually the hope is the overlap is then at some point he takes Matheson's spot and Matheson ages out. But we'll have to see what happens with that. it's one of the things we just want to continue to keep an eye on. It is unfortunate, and it's one of those things where you hope that's not something that you look back and that's going to be the number one blunder of the Hughes Gordon sort of regime that's here
from a draft perspective.
From the draft perspective,
because right now, like I don't know if you saw the article with, I think it was Jonathan Montreal. They interviewed Kent Hughes, and he kind of alluded that a mistake that they made, if they want to call it that, or maybe the little kink in the armor, was the Lehkonen trade. Because he went on to win a Stanley Cup after. I think at the time of rebuilding, you had to move him. But...
I mean, it's not so much that necessarily. I mean, again, everything is. I mean, he's got 11 points in 10 games this season. You know, so but look who he's playing with. Everything's different. I mean, he was he was cast different on this team. I miss Lehkonen. I liked him a lot too, but I don't think that was necessarily a mistake. I think fundamentally, if Reinbacher doesn't work out, that will be the number one thing that people will talk about.
Yeah,
was the fact that you had a top 5 pick in a draft, and that's who you ended up going with. And there are several other guys already that are starting to flourish. And so time will tell on that one. On a last note, however, boys, real quick, I wanted to ask you, put yourselves in the future. 3 years from now, you're looking at the team. Obviously, the team will probably be mostly the same, but there will be some differences. But barring that aside, who will be the quote-unquote best player of the team in 3 years from now?
3 years from now? And you're saying Sidney Crosby?
3 years from now, you say Sidney Crosby?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years from now.
No.
Okay, all right. They're messing with us. Okay, 3 years from now, who's the man?
Who's the best? The one player.
The guy. There might be a whole bunch of stars and maybe even superstars, but who's going to rise to the top? Who's the number one? Who do you think it's going to be?
Peter, you want to go first?
Right now?
I think it's easy to say Demidov, but while I think his skill set and his impact is going to be right up there, I mean, how could you not say in 3 years from now, him being in his prime, and it's got to, you're looking at Nick Suzuki, man.
Nick Suzuki is the man, the captain right now.
Unless they get another number one center to replace him, he's the guy. Offense is running through him. He's leading the way. He's, you're looking at his advanced analytics now. They're falling into like Patrice Bergeron territory officially, especially the defensive aspect of his game. Like everything's running through him. You may not get every season getting these 90, potentially 90 or 100 point seasons from him, but his impact and what he's going to do for the team from a two-way perspective, it's going to be hard because you pluck him out, they're in trouble. They're in serious trouble. So
listen, I don't think
unless Michael Hage comes in and he becomes a revelation, and all of a sudden he's a 2C, 1C type of guy, and they have a 1A, 1B situation. They're going on down there in 3 years from now.
I mean,
he's playing really well right now.
If your future 2C is the man on the team, I don't know what that necessarily means. You know what I'm saying?
So I think from I'm going to break it down like this. I think he's the guy that is going to be the best all-around player on the Montreal Canadiens, right? And I think the wow factor that you're going to get is going to come from Ivan Demidov. But it's going to be a team that's going to. You're
all right. You're hedging your bets a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a team that's. They're all bringing
your guy's Nick Suzuki.
elements.
Nick Suzuki is going to be is who is when you think Montreal Canadiens, like the last decade before it was Carey Price. The upcoming in 3 years, that guy is Nick Suzuki.
I don't think Montreal will ever have everything riding on the shoulders like they did on Carey Price, where he was the face of the franchise.
But
I think it's going to be the faces of the franchise.
Listen, every team has the guy. Like real quick before I jump to you, Luca, when you think about the Tampa Bay Lightning, who's the guy of the Tampa Bay Lightning?
He's talking to you. Yeah.
No, I'm talking to you.
Oh, your name Luca, ain't it?
No. I said, hold on, Luca, for a second.
Yeah.
Coming back to you.
Yeah.
When you think about the Tampa Bay Lightning, who's the guy of the Tampa Bay Lightning?
It used to be Steven Stamkos. Now you're looking and saying, is it Vasilevsky or is it Kucherov?
Who's the guy? Tell me who you think it is.
I would say it's Kucherov.
Me
but
too.
At the same time, if somebody told me it's Vasilevsky, I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
No, I'd say you're entitled to your opinion, but you're wrong. It's Kucherov. That's what I would say. Like that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. You think about another one, the Capitals, it's Ovechkin, obviously. You think about the Penguins, it's Crosby, obviously. When you think about the Wild now, it's Kaprizov.
Well, yeah,
like,
but the guys you're mentioning are either they're anywhere between elite and generational talented players.
Fine. So take it to another place. Here, the Dallas Stars.
That falls more like, well, now you'd look and say Rantanen probably is the guy, but if you look at it, it's a Montreal situation. To some people, it might be Jason Robertson, or at least it used to be. To some people, other people might be Heiskanen. Now, you're saying it might be Thomas Harley. Someone's going to say Jake Otter. It's a big mix.
Right? There's a lot of them there, but you probably tip your hat to Rantanen.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, yeah, he's the highest paid player.
It's not about price point, though. I don't want to get lost in the sauce
But
here.
when you tell me Dallas Stars, who's the first player that you think of? The first player I think of is the guy who's been there the longest, is JB Benn.
I guess, yeah, tenure there, obviously, but he doesn't have much hockey left.
No, he doesn't.
So it'll be Rantanen's team moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay, Luka, 3 years from now, who's the man for the Canadiens?
I mean, I don't want to go with the easy choice, but it has to be Demidov. Like, he's going to be the 100-point player we've been, like, the Canadiens have been clamoring for, that they've been hungry for how many years now?
Well, they already got a point-a-game player right now, Nick Suzuki.
He said 100-point
100-point player.
100-point.
They haven't had a 100-point player in forever.
Well, what do you guys say? Right now, Nick Suzuki's on pace for 112 points.
Let him get 100 first.
I know, I get it, but I'm not saying he's going to get. But even if he gets 90 points this season,
but a close second would have been Lane Hudson, just for what it's worth.
No, I think it's fair, and that's what makes this question in particular for me fun, and that's what I pose to everybody now who's made it to the end of the episode. Don't feel shy. Take a minute, even if you just write the name. Let us know in the comments who you think in 3 years' time from now. So the 2029-2030 NHL season.
Dobesh.
Who knows? Who's going to be
Maybe
the face of the Montreal Canadiens? The player when you think of that team? That's who we want to know in the comments below. As always, please consider liking and subscribing, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. And let us know as well in the comments if you have any other interesting little tidbits you'd like to add about Patrik Laine or David Reinbacher or any of the things we talked about. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks so much. And for Luke and Vito, I'm Matt. And this was
Get Pucked.